What's up, fellow nerds? Welcome to Malta 5. I'm JD, and today is a very exciting day. Pioneer was just announced just literally a few days ago by Wizards of the Coast. Brand new format. I'm sure you know all about it at this point, but I am so excited for this. I just think it's a really cool new format. I'm excited to brew around. It's wide open right now. I'm sure, as time goes on, the meta will settle and things will get banned and whatever. But right now, the brewing potential is pretty wide open. I'm just super excited. I hope you guys are as well. So today, I'm going to dabble in Pioneer for the first time. First episode of... we're tentatively calling it Punting in Pioneer, maybe? See if that sticks. I don't know. Either way, my first video dabbling in the Pioneer format. And in a brand new wide open format / meta, you can't go wrong with red aggro. That's always solid. And red aggro, especially this version, mono red devotion specifically, holds a special place in my heart. I won my first F&M in Theros Standard with mono red as a young lad. So I miss this deck. I had a lot of fun with it. Slamming a Fanatic Amogus with a bunch of devotion on the battlefield feels real good. So anyway, I was excited to go back to the good old mono red devotion. Feels super nostalgic for me. So I guess we'll dive right in here. So, mentioned Fanatic Amogus already. This is probably the biggest devotion payoff / only devotion payoff. Yeah, I guess that's really the only devotion payoff. He's 4 mana, so he's tops the curve for a 4/2, which is fine. But when he enters the battlefield, deals damage equal to your devotion to red. And so obviously our deck is filled with a ton of red mana symbols. So hopefully when this guy comes down, he is smacking the opponent for like 6 or 7 or 8 or who knows. So he can just win out of nowhere. If they don't have a counterspell and this resolves with like a Boros Reckoner and an Ashe Zealot on the battlefield, 6 damage out of nowhere. Pretty powerful. So that's our devotion payoff. And while we're at the top of the curve, we can talk about this gentleman, Torbran, Thane of Redfell. Also has 3 red mana symbols in his casting costs, so that's nice. He is a 2/4, so flip-flopped with Fanatic stats. He's got a bigger booty. He's also legendary, so I only have 3 of them, because I do want to see him. He is a great card, but I don't necessarily want multiples. So 3 Torbrans. If a red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 2 instead. Luckily, every single thing in our deck is a red source, with the exception of the lands. So he's just racking up the extra damage like crazy. This could be like from a lightning strike, does 2 extra damage now. Every red creature that hits in is doing 2 extra damage. When our Scorched Spitter spits its little fire, that does 3 damage instead of 1 now. Boros Reckoner, when he doubles back damage, he's adding to it. Same with Chain Whirler. He just combos so well with a lot of our creatures. So he can get out of control and really speed up the clock a little bit. So very, very good card. Moving down the line, Boros Reckoner was a classic in the old mono red devotion standard decks. 3 red mana symbols is great for a 3/3. And he's just a very solid card. Whenever he's dealt damage, you get to deal that much damage back to any target you want. So he becomes super awkward to attack into, to block, especially when you have the option to give him first strike. Damage-based removal is very poor against him. So just a really great card. Always happy to see him. This is a newer one we did not have access to back in the day, but again, triple red mana symbol, great for devotion, for another 3/3. This one always has first strike, and when he enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and to each creature and planeswalker they control. So this guy's just pinging them across the board when he lands, doing some extra damage to the opponent and their planeswalkers. If our opponent has a bunch of X1 creatures out, he can just wipe the board. Even if he doesn't wipe the board, now all those creatures have 1 point of damage on them, so when we go to combat, maybe they can't quite block as well. So again, great card. Burning Tree Emissary, double red, so great for devotion. 2/2 for 2, which, whatever, solid. When it enters the battlefield, you add red and green. Our deck can't quite take advantage of this as much as I would like, so it's possible just something else is better in this slot. I'm not sure. We have very few colorless mana symbols that we can apply the green to. Lightning Strike and then these higher casting cost cards is all we can really do with that green mana. So not at 100% efficiency, but it's, solid card. It adds a lot of devotion, so I'm messing around with it. Maybe it's not correct. We'll see. If you guys have better ideas for this 2-drop slot, let me know. Ashe Zealot is great, though. Again, double red mana symbols for a 2/2. First Strike and Haste. Haste is always nice. Kind of come out of nowhere. Attack the first turn it's dropped. The rest of the text might be relevant once in a while. Whenever a player casts a spell from a graveyard, Ashe Zealot deals 3 damage to that player. So it could be relevant once in a while, but mostly it's just a 2/2 First Strike and Haste for 2. And it adds a bunch of devotion. So, yeah. Lightning Strike. We don't have Lightning Bolt in this format, so we have the less efficient Lightning Strike. I just have 3 of them. Again, we want a lot of permanence for devotion. So I don't have a ton of spells, but the extra reach and versatility is nice. Can be cast off of Burning Tree Emissary mana, so we have a few Lightning Strikes. Wild Slash is just a strictly better shock. Instant speed, 2 damage to any target. If we happen to control a creature with power 4 or greater, damage can't be prevented this turn, which I guess is cool. Fanatic is the only one with naturally more, with power 4 or greater naturally. So not going to come up often, and maybe not super relevant, but whatever. It's a strict upgrade from Shock, so why not? Scorched Spitter. It's just a 1/1. It doesn't have haste. However, it combos well with Torbran. When it attacks, it deals 1. It automatically deals, as soon as it turns sideways in the declare attacker's step, it deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. So it's at least doing damage to the opponent regardless of whether it connects or not. And with Torbran out, that 1 damage becomes 3 damage, which is pretty amazing. So combos well with him. Otherwise, there's other options for the 1-drop slot. We could have done like Rakdos Cackler, which is a 1/1 for 1, but it has Unleash. So if you choose to give it a +1/+1 counter, it can't block anymore. But so basically, it's a 2/2 for 1 that can't block. So maybe the extra point of toughness is relevant. I don't know, but I think the synergy with Torbran makes Scorched Spitter worth it. And then Legion Loyalist is probably the best 1-drop. Comes down with haste, so it's hitting right away. It's just a 1/1, unfortunately, but the Battalion trigger is pretty nice. Gives everybody First Strike and Trample, and can't be blocked by tokens. So that's pretty solid. I guess we're weak to all these 1/1s. They die pretty easily, but I think there are our best options in the 1-drop slot. Who knows? It's a brand new meta, brand new deck, playing around, brewing. Let me know what you think, any changes you might make. Mana base is pretty simple. Just a whole bunch of basic mountains. We got some Ramanop ruins. In the late game, if we're flooding out, we can sack it to deal the extra 2 damage to the opponent, hopefully close out the game. It is very painful, but we're an aggressive deck. We don't care about our life total that much. And then Castle Embereth. This is a new one from Throne of Eldraine. Again, if we don't have anything to do with our mana, if we're not casting anything, we can use it to pump our team and get in for some extra damage there. It's a very low opportunity cost. I mean, we have tons of mountains, so more often than not, it'll be coming in untapped. Taps for red. I mean, there's not a ton of downside for a lot of upside, potentially. So it's like, why not throw a few in? Sideboard, who knows? I don't know. The meta is pretty unknown right now, so it's hard to tune a sideboard at this point. I just threw in a bunch of random stuff that I thought might be okay. Grafdigger's Cage for graveyard strategies, a single Ratchet Bomb for, I don't know, tokens and stuff. I don't know. It might be relevant. Who knows? Fry takes care of blue or white planeswalkers and creatures. You mostly bringing this in for planeswalkers. Like Oko is super scary. Gets really high loyalty really fast, but he is blue, so can't be countered. It deals 5 damage, so hopefully taking care of Teferis and Okos and random other blue or white creatures. Smash to Smithereens takes care of artifacts. Searing Blood, some extra removal. If the opponent has a bunch of low toughness creatures, Searing Blood becomes super useful and basically just replaces like Lightning Strikes or Wild Slashes. And Rampaging Ferocidon, this big mean dino, players can't gain life, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to that creature's controller. So anybody that's trying to stabilize their life total with some life gain, lifelink, stuff like that, this guy takes care of that. It's also hilariously good against the copycat combo, because every time they make a copy, it's just pinging them for 1 damage. So I expect to see that in this meta. So he's good against that too. I don't know. We'll see. It's a brand new frontier. We're pioneering into this new meta. I'm excited. Like I said, mono red, simple aggressive red decks can't really go wrong. I really enjoyed them back in the day, so I'm excited to play it again. Anyway, we shall take this through a league and see how we do. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the first round.